We are live. Welcome, everyone. Before we get started, I have completely rebuilt the system that you are currently seeing us on. And so I want to make 100% sure that you can hear us okay, because I've been working all day. Thank you for the help, by the way, Patrick. It's really nice of you.
Hey, I went to Home Depot and I got a new router and I got something else.
Oh, yeah.
Battery backup.
Didn't use those things yet.
Oh, well, I thought they were of dire concern.
So how do we sound, guys? Does it sound the same as yesterday? Does it sound... sound is good. Okay. So the other exciting thing, I've got the Blackmagic switcher. I have been attempting to learn it all day long, and this is the exciting part. We can now do this, and we can show videos. There's a lot more work that I have to do to streamline this. I only have one video recorded today just as a test, because I think this could be a total failure, but we'll get to it in just 1 second. Yeah, tons of Nutter Butters. For you guys who don't know what the heck is going on, yes, we are a photography channel, but since we're stuck inside, we have decided and promised that we will nightly make a video about the current situation, kind of talk about what we are dealing with in our own lives, and then what's kind of going on in the news, what we're thinking about. Today is Monday, April 27th. And let's look at the numbers real quick. I think we passed a big number today.
We have 3 million total cases now?
3 million total cases in the world. 211,000 deaths around the world. And in the United States, we have also passed 1 million cases in the United States. Currently 56,666 deaths as of filming this.
I was reading that to get from 1 million to 2 million, I think took 2 weeks, maybe right at 14 days.
Yeah.
And to get from 2 million to 3 million has taken 13 days. Maybe I have those switched.
Okay.
So in some ways, it feels like the third million actually took the same amount of time, which means maybe things are slowing up a little bit. But
plus, I would imagine we're increasing testing at an exponential rate.
I just remember not so long ago going to those YouTube videos that count down, or they count up.
Yeah.
And it hitting 200,000. Now
Yeah.
we're at 3 million.
Well, let's start off with this video and let's see if this thing actually works. 8 hours of work today. Let's see if I can get this damn video to play correctly.
It looks
and if
like
you guys can hear it.
We are down on frame rate.
Really?
Yeah, we are very jerky here.
Uh-oh.
So what do you think that is? Somebody's playing Netflix upstairs?
I just don't even have the slightest idea. I would think it's just a Wi-Fi issue and not a computer issue.
We're not plugged directly into the network yet, though, right?
We are not plugged directly into the network yet, but it's been a problem occasionally, but not.
Let me do a little speed test.
Do a little speed test. While you do a speed test, let me read some of these super chats here. Allison says, looks good, sounds good, love the rotating table accessories. Thank you so much, Allison.
The table doesn't, oh, it does rotate.
I don't think it's supposed to.
No.
It's just broken. Stuart says, sounds great, but the video is a bit choppy. Connection speed, exposure looks great. Nutter Butters on point. Thank you, Stuart.
So I'm getting a download of 243 and an upload of 24. That should be plenty fast for...
Yeah. This is so frustrating about going live. I don't know what to do when we're having frame rate issues right here. Steve Robertson says, for the Nutter Butters, gave us $50.
That's like a whole
Thank you so much, Steve. It's incredibly generous of you. But yeah, it looks incredibly slow. What is going on here? Could there be any issue with the laptop maybe being overloaded or something. I wonder if I can just cut this software off.
It's possible.
Anything's possible. I'm going to cut that software off. I'm going to close. What can I close out of here? I think we need this up.
And the issue is the laptop that's running all of this doesn't have another Ethernet port that could be run off USB.
No, you know, all current laptops don't have Ethernet ports anymore, so we got to get adapters, and it's just a nightmare. I'm wondering, should we continue or should we pause this live stream and try to figure something out and come back? I do not know what to do. What do you guys think we should do?
This is a horrible way to start this episode.
Yes, it is.
They're saying they're going to wait till the stream ends and watch it at 2x.
Somebody says open system resources and see if our resources are being overloaded. Let's do it. You're welcome to talk and keep people entertained, Patrick. We are at 100% CPU usage. I wonder if that has anything to do with it or not. The thing is, I have... All right, I'm just going to cut... everything but this one thing off.
So guys, how was your Monday? Did you have a good weekend? You a little hungover? Everyone's tired?
All right, I'm going to try to now just...
Monday's always the roughest day of the week, but to be
pull
honest,
down this whole page.
I don't even know if I know when it's Monday. The only reason I knew today was Monday was because stock market opened again. Other than that.
See if you can watch it live now and see if that changed anything at all.
Are we back?
So at this point, I have literally closed everything on this laptop except for OBS, which is streaming this. We are now down to 65% CPU usage.
It does feel like, yeah, I think we're good.
Are we back up and running?
I don't know that we're at a full 24 frames. We may be at like 12. But I do look like I'm moving a little more smoothly. Do some quick movements.
Okay, so I don't know what we just learned.
We learned that maybe we need a bigger hardware solution.
Dude, that's what's so infuriating about all this. It's like, when I was learning about this, like, oh, all you need is this one $300 device. And this $300 device can do everything. So you plug that in. Well, first of all, I couldn't get it because it's sold out everywhere. So I spent $600 on it to buy it on eBay. Then it's like, oh, well, you need ways to control things. So now we've got like a Surface Book here that was $2,000, and I've got a MacBook here that was $2,500, so that we can like do the things. And then I've got so many different cables and things snaking throughout this entire room. And
What's
then
really strange is this has a delay to it.
It works worse than the $100 device that we have been using. But this is the reason for all of this. Let's play this video that just came out on Fox News. Guys, let us know if you can hear this and how the sound is. Here we go. I swear to God, MacBook, you better play.
On Kim Jong-un's health, have you gotten any update on Kim Jong-un's health? Has he responded to your letter from March?
On Kim Jong-un? I can't tell you exactly. Yes, I do have a very good idea, but I can't talk about it now. I just wish him well. I've had a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un. If I weren't president, you'd be in war. You would have been in war with Korea. You would have been in war with North Korea if I wasn't president. That I can tell you. He expected that. That I can tell you. I hope he's fine. I do know how he's doing, relatively speaking. We will see. You'll probably be hearing in the not too distant future.
What do you make of that?
I mean, I don't know. Do you think Trump's bluffing and he's acting like he knows when nobody knows?
I don't think he would
I
say
was
that.
watching a news video, maybe on CNN right before I came down here, and it was somebody they were in Tokyo, but they had sources in North Korea, and they were just saying nobody knows. It's like the tightest held secret. But they had surveillance and satellite images of like his train that's parked outside like his main compound.
Yeah.
And they were saying, I guess his father had died on the train, and would the train be like, he normally flies to this compound, but maybe he's not in good enough health to fly, so he had to take the train. But then at the end, he's like, but we're just all speculating. Nobody has any idea. I mean, you would think U.S. intelligence would, and then Trump has access to that, but
why do you think he wouldn't comment on it?
I don't know. Like, what's the problem with saying he died and breaking that news?
Or what if he's in a vegetative state? A lot of news sources have said that.
It's not, though. It's not like North Korea is going to suddenly like completely change if they had this information, because they're kind of in this bubble where they may not know anyway. It's not like you're saying, hey, Saddam Hussein is now dead, and everybody comes up and says, we've been fearing this guy, and now we're free of his tyranny. This, North Korea probably won't even know. Like, citizens in there probably will not hear. So, like, what's the harm?
I don't know. The whole thing just feels very strange to me. It seems like he is on the verge of death, if not dead, based on the way Trump answered that question. But I don't know. That was very weird to me.
So, one of the articles or talking points I had listed for today is that I thought Trump canceled his press conference today, and it seems like maybe it was off and now it's back on, because this was 6:30 p.m. today.
Yeah.
We have not heard from Trump in, is it 2 days? Did he talk over the weekend?
Yeah, after the injecting of disinfectants line, he
kind of took a break.
He just refused to go in front of a microphone. But I don't know what this video is. This video was not on any other major news website other than Fox News, and I couldn't find this anywhere, even on YouTube. This was only on foxnews.com, so it doesn't seem like a normal press conference where all the news agencies are there filming.
I always like to check my trusty source.
Well, you check your
Twitter
source
to see what is happening.
Allison says, Patrick, I meant that the accessories themselves are rotating, not the table. Oh, gotcha. And Touche Film says, sick. This is worth it. It's worth thousands of dollars and hours of infuriation just to have a picture-in-picture.
Somebody, I don't want to take too much away from the topics, but somebody was just suggesting that we should just broadcast this at 1080 at a higher bit rate. Are we currently broadcasting at 4K, even though it's not giving people the 4K option?
I don't know if it is. It's an OBS thing. This device that we have here only exports in 1080, but I may have had to scale it to get it to fit on OBS. I'm still learning how this stuff works, but yeah, I'm sure it's a lower bit rate. Stuart at large says, better but not perfect. I'm not exactly, oh, maybe he's talking about the frame rate or something. We're doing what we can. And Logan, he had a message, but he retracted it. Thanks for the super chat anyway. All right, you want to get on to some other news stories here?
Sure. What do you have to talk about today?
Well, it's looking like potentially.
The big news story that I saw today when I woke up was that the Prime Minister of New Zealand has announced that they have beaten, they have eliminated, that is the exact words.
Yeah.
Eliminated the virus.
Yeah.
And I think we all know they haven't eliminated the virus, but maybe they've gotten it so under control that it now doesn't seem to be a threat. And if they continue to social distance, maybe they can eradicate it entirely from the island.
Why couldn't it be eliminated already?
Because I think there's still people who have
symptoms,
and until that's gone, Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, good for New Zealand, but New Zealand is a very small population. They're in a very remote part of the world. They're an island or 2 islands in and of themselves.
Yep.
So if there was a place you would suspect that maybe the virus could be eradicated from, it would be a place like New Zealand.
Right.
Which is even more reason why I would just love to be in New Zealand right now, because maybe we could just be living our best lives and seeing all those beautiful sights, or they're in lockdown and you still can't do anything. She was recommending that they do not suddenly let everybody go back to normal. So I
it's
don't.
not that eliminated.
No, it sure isn't.
I don't know. I've always said, if this all started from one person, then it's literally impossible to eliminate. Now, I could see some place like New Zealand eliminating it. Probably the people are healthier there. They're very spread out. Probably would spread extremely slowly. Maybe they could eliminate it. But then someone's going to fly in or somebody's going to go on a cruise. And so what's the point?
Yeah, I think Bill Gates came out again today and said, there's no chance we can stop this until we get the vaccine, which only fuels all the speculation of like he wants us to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
But as we talked about yesterday, I'm not so convinced that we will ever have a vaccine for this.
Really?
Well, and people are saying, I think you were mentioning this yesterday, it's 12 to 18 months if everything goes perfectly.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance that we will not figure out how to make a vaccine for this, or it's going to take 6 to 12 months to figure that out, and then we still have to wait the additional year to do all the tests, and then we still have 6 months to administer all of those vaccines to the world population. I mean, that's not going to be an easy task either. So in my mind, we're in this for the next year at least.
Yeah.
It's going to be a roller coaster ride, and hopefully it's just like other viruses. It will mutate and become weaker, and maybe the summer will help destroy it. We'll see what happens in places like New Zealand and Australia as they start going into their winter. Maybe it's going to get worse down there. We don't know yet, but the studies that came out, was it Thursday or Friday, saying that the virus can be destroyed by direct sunlight and temperature does affect it.
Right.
That good news seems to have gotten overshadowed by Trump's whole Clorox fiasco. So the good news is that it does look like the thing is not super stable outside the human body.
Dennis is asking if you would wax your chest live for $500.
I don't know. I mean, I trim it a little bit, so it doesn't have a lot to pull. But yeah, for $500, I'd do that.
Really?
Sure. I mean, I remember Jackass doing it, and that didn't look too good.
Oh my gosh! But you won't shave your head for less than $5,000. Your
well,
priorities are so out of whack.
I was talking about $5,000 last night, and Kristen was still saying no, because she doesn't think it will grow back in time for the wedding.
Okay, well that's a.
And
fair,
I'm like, man, that's a lot of money. But if I can't get my hair, like my hair would probably be a little shorter than this for the wedding.
Yeah.
But like if it would just be like a few inches long, maybe that'd be the goofiest haircut. I can't have a wedding and
All right.
goofy hair.
I can respect that. Logan says that he thinks your hair is the problem and it's taking up too much bandwidth. When you move, it's having to refresh all those pixels
I think it's this new spotlight that we decided to turn on.
in the background.
Yeah, the one that everyone said they liked better, so we did leave that on.
All right, next up, Pepsid AC drug being used in New York City.
Did you see this article?
I heard it somewhere, and then I read the headline, but I did not read it.
I read it early this morning when I woke up. It was one of those trending topics, and I can't remember exactly what it said. I put the link in the description. But it was basically like antacids could be a way to kill the virus in some capacity.
Okay.
I should probably reread the article since it was so long ago that I read it, but I'm thinking
And-
like that's too good to be true.
And were they actually getting people to eat it, or they were doing something else with it? I thought maybe I heard that they were doing something else with the medicine.
Says so far they have 187 patients enrolled in this clinical trial. I mean, this article is just such a fluff piece, and it's on CNN. It's just talking about it's generic, and it would be so inexpensive, and if this worked, how great would that be? And it's like, yeah, if aspirin worked, that would be great too.
Yeah.
People are hoping for anything, but we really need to do this clinical trial. I mean, is there a way this is just a sham for companies to get money so that they can run more trials on something as silly as Pepsid AC?
Were you talking about in yesterday's video, or to me privately, that hospitals were getting more money? The more COVID patients they had, the more money they were getting?
Somebody in the chat suggested,
Okay.
but I have been hearing that.
Okay.
This was back when we showed that video of like the conspiracy that the hospitals were still empty.
Okay.
And there was a girl, a doctor, that owns a private practice or one of those like doc in a box type places, emergency care. And she was out there saying, we're doing all this testing, everybody can come here. And there was a line of people all getting tested. And then somebody went back and filmed her the next day, and she's out there trying to stop them. Get out of here, you're not welcome here. And there's like nobody being tested,
Yeah.
the whole hospital's empty.
Yeah.
And they were saying, why was she on TV showing all these people getting tested and how busy the hospital was? But then when I went there, there was nobody there. And I was like, that is a little suspicious. Maybe the answer is they have no COVID-19 patients and they ran out of the tests the day before. But, you know, there's still this idea that maybe if you have, if you're lacking supplies and everything and you're having an outbreak, maybe you would get more government funding. I think Trump talks about this all the time. I don't watch his press conferences, but hasn't he been talking about this with Cuomo and stuff, that we're going to get extra money and supplies to these hospitals that are in need?
Well, yes, that is true. I don't know. I need to read more into that because I haven't read any article. You would think Fox News would be all over that if that was true, you know. COVID-19 is presenting itself as a disease humanity has never faced before, from sciencemag.org.
I mean, there was nothing really new in this article, but it was kind of a sensationalized headline, but it was basically saying that we still don't know how this virus is killing everybody. By far, the largest number of people are dying from...
Holy shit.
It's confirmed?
Someone just paid $500 for you.
What?
To wax your chest.
Dennis.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So I have to, like, is it all of it? Is it just some of it?
Dennis, set the rules, man. Set the rules. Now,
we're going to have to do this on a different day.
yeah,
Like,
you don't
in 2
have
or 3 days.
you don't have wax here, right? Like,
No, I don't have
well,
wax
maybe
here.
maybe Kristen does. I don't know.
I don't think anyone in this house is waxing anything.
Katie does not do wax stuff, so I don't like. She doesn't
We
have
may
it.
have to buy a kit and.
Dude.
Oh boy!
I don't
will,
even
I mean, I'll do it. I said I'll do it, but like now we got to figure out the system, and it's not going to be at the beginning of the show. What an interruption!
And Anthony says Patrick is the Vagtastic Voyage. Don't know what that means, but I like it.
So the article was just saying that many people are dying from the pneumonia and the cytokine
Dude,
storm.
I'm sorry.
all
I'm having
this.
trouble focusing. I can't believe somebody just paid you $500 to do
I'm
that.
assuming you're going to have to pull the strips, right?
Hell no. I'm gonna like be extra far away.
I can't do it.
Eating
I
some-
can't.
Maybe the girls will do it. That'll be funny.
I don't know.
Dennis, set the rules, buddy. We'll do whatever you want. Patrick will do whatever you want. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Back to the news story.
Yeah, back to what this is all about.
Basically, this article on Science was just saying that it is killing people in so many different ways, and we've never seen a virus. Maybe HIV is like this. When you get AIDS, you can die from any number of underlying conditions. Basically, your immune system gets so weak. But this article, and it's a very, very long article. I probably read a third of it. It was just saying things like maybe people are dying because their immune system is doing too strong of a response, which causes everything to get overwhelmed. A lot of people are dying where their blood is clotting. And so earlier we were hearing that people who have weakened immune systems might be at the highest risk. But I remember reading articles about Crohn's disease and about TNF blockers, which is what I'm on with Humira. You might actually be at a lower risk because that's part of the mechanism that might be causing the response. So if you weaken your immune system with some kind of other drug, sometimes people take steroids and stuff, maybe your body wouldn't respond as quickly and swiftly, which is actually causing patients to die. And this article was kind of mentioning that. They weren't getting into the NTF receptors and all of that as much, but they were basically saying We still don't know if a weakened immune system is better or a hyperactive immune system is better. We don't know if you're really dying because of a blood disease and blood clotting and the detachment of iron from your blood, from your red blood cells. A lot of people are definitely dying from suffocation. They're dying from the pneumonia element. But people are dying from heart attacks and strokes. Do you remember these videos that we saw back when we really didn't think that this was much of anything? You remember these videos coming out of China? And it would just be somebody walking down the street and just fall over like a cartoon?
Maybe
There was videos like this everywhere, and there'd be paramedics that would be running and picking people up out of the street. It was the strangest thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're seeing that in New York.
No, I don't think.
But there were these videos, and I remember thinking, like, this can't be real. Like, this has to be actors, or this has to be something else that happened years ago that they're just saying is coronavirus, look what's going on in China. But there's no way that that's the reality. And it is weird now that I think about it. I have not seen those videos anywhere else in the world. But do you guys remember in China, these videos, people would just be falling over left and right. People are dying in really weird ways. They're having strokes, they're having heart attacks. I was talking about this a couple days ago. People are dying at like 30 and 40. Not a lot of people, but some people are dying in these really strange ways. So this article from Science, which is a very reputable publication, was just saying we've never really seen a disease that we can't identify any one thing as being the root cause. And we're kind of left speculating, like, how do we tackle this?
Rob Grace sent a link. I am unable to click this link on my iPhone. He says, talking of source, what was the outcome of, and I can't click it.
What now?
That's incredibly frustrating. Can you click it?
What are you reading?
It's a super chat.
The super
by Rob Grace. I want to be able to answer you.
Yeah, it's not.
You got to do the waxing.
It's like a separate video. Don't do it. On this
I don't
podcast.
know. I mean, I would imagine this guy wants to be here live, but I feel like you have to do it tomorrow night. This dude just paid $500. Like, I feel bad you're not doing it right this second. That's so crazy. People are saying we make a waxing photography tutorial.
I'm not even really worried about it, but maybe I should be. Is it that painful? I mean, I got a lot of chest hair.
Wasn't it the 40-year-old virgin? Kelly Clarkson. Oh, you know what?
Oh, man.
Let me try to pull that video up, and let's see if we can. Let's see. 40-year-old virgin wax. Now, if we do this, are we going to get in trouble?
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Cool. This is the one right here, right?
Hi.
Copyright. Hopefully not, because it's right there in the middle.
How are you?
So this is your first time getting body wash?
If she starts doing his pubes, I'm out of here.
This is what I'm in for. I mean, he's acting,
I'm
right?
good after this, man.
Thanks, man.
I think this is real.
Yeah, this is
So
real.
ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, you fucker! Oh, I'm sorry. That's just your job.
Don't recall that language. But yeah, that'll be you tomorrow.
I mean, my hair is trimmed. Like, it needs to be long to, like, really grab
I don't
it,
think
right?
it does.
It's going to be able to pull...
No, women pull out like little leg hair and face hair and
But
stuff.
they're still, like, full-grown little thin hairs. This has a sharp-edged... I mean, I don't know. We'll find
No,
out.
dude, that's coming out. That's coming
So
out. Your
you're-
chest is going to be bloody.
Today, you did something, I believe, that you haven't done
What's that?
in this whole quarantine.
Okay, what's that? Oh, yeah. I went to Walmart today.
You have not gone to a store yet, have
No,
you?
haven't been to a store
What
in like
was your
2
Walmart
months.
experience like?
I took one of your masks because it's the law here. You have to have the mask to go in.
So you went and were safe. You would have gone in there without a mask?
Of course.
You would have wore like your T-shirt wrapped around?
Yeah, I would have gone in there with nothing. I had to wait in line for 15 minutes. There was tons of people outside. Getting inside, they they have started to open up Walmart a little bit more. So you can buy TVs now. I actually was able to buy HDMI cables that we use to make all this monstrosity work, which was nice. I got food, and like you said, there was actually fewer people in there than normal.
Can you take that picture of Steve Carell off the laptop?
Oh, you don't want that to just
no,
be
I don't
staying
want
up there
no,
forever?
No, now everyone can see your links and your.
But yeah,
The line was how long?
Maybe 15 minutes to get inside, but there was fewer people inside, which was nice. Yeah. And
did you do a full-blown shopping experience, or you went in just for a few
spent
things?
like maybe $200, $300. I don't like. I bought a decent
bunch
amount.
of groceries.
Yeah.
And stuff. Okay. I saw we have new water and
Coke
Zeros, and we have Nutter Butters.
I bought all of the Nutter Butters in Walmart, and Katie was like, "What are you doing? Why are you eating all that?" And I'm like, "It's for the show." And she's like,
"She went with you?"
No, she didn't.
Oh, but this was all of them, or you just bought?
This is all of them.
That's all they had at Walmart?
They're very popular.
Some other podcaster got the pallet. Like, we need the pallet of Nutter Butters.
Yeah, but it was a pretty pleasant experience overall. Very strange though, just to see every human around me wearing a mask. It felt like a movie or something.
It says, I live and work in Peter McKinnon's area. He has a reputation for being a bit high maintenance with local studios and hotspots. Patrick, your dream boat. This is to pay for the wax. What does that mean? Your dream boat. What is my dream boat? I don't know. I'm not really like, we're actually in the process of buying a boat with some people here.
Maybe we are. We had the money ready to go, and
yeah, like we had to make a LLC because that was the smart, responsible thing to do when you go in on a boat with several other people, and coronavirus hit like the day we all signed that. So hopefully this boat thing's still happening. We'll have some pretty sick content. If
the problem is that this boat, it's a gigantic yacht. It's like a 50-foot.
It's not a yacht.
I mean, it's got a living room and 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It's a big,
yeah, but when you say yacht, I mean,
I think yacht technically means cabin.
Okay, so if you have a cabin cruiser, a boat with just a single bedroom, that's a yacht?
I don't even know that it has to have a bedroom. It just
See,
has to
I
have
think
a cabin.
of a yacht as like it has to park at the super dock.
No, it's not a mega yacht, but it's a big boat. But it's old. It's very old. So we're getting an incredible price on it.
Yeah.
It's more affordable than even a used normal size boat.
This super chat, like the dream boat of mine would be a $1 billion boat. You know, it would be like the one with the sub and the helicopter. We had one that pulled in here before all the coronavirus stuff. And, you know, it had like the awesome jet gray color, and it looked like something out of a 007 movie, you know?
But the point I was going to make was we felt like we were getting a really good deal on this boat because of how old it is. And it's not really a brand name that people want and stuff. But now that potentially we're going into a world depression, we're like, should we be getting a better deal on this boat? I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like it was the worst time to buy a boat. But then the market, I mean, how down are we at the moment?
Not that much, like 15, 18% down, something like that.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Chris McNeil says, guys, maybe this is what he was referring to. Is this the same person? Guys, on Katie Couric's Instagram page, she says, 2 volunteers in the UK get injections of the new coronavirus, the new COVID-19 vaccine. I assume there are people designing things that they think could be a vaccine.
Yeah,
right?
there are over 5 vaccines currently being injected into people right now. And people are volunteering to have these vaccines tested. And of course, there's always the fear that the vaccine could cause serious health problems to these people. So, you know, these are brave people that we need in the world to do this. But at the same time, there's a very good chance that the vaccine will not actually work, and you won't have immunity for this disease. So they have to do potentially a year or more of testing, human testing, before they could ever even think about releasing it to the public. So that's what's going on.
And that's what people have been saying in the chat. Is there anything else that we have that we should get through before this becomes too...
Yeah, the I think we had 2 more things to discuss. San Juan mayor claims no one on the island has gotten their $1,200 stimulus money.
Yeah, do you understand all the stimulus money stuff and what Puerto Ricans are eligible to get? I was asking our group here, and people were saying that yes, if you did a tax return, you would get the $1,200.
If you've paid federal taxes.
But Puerto Rico, we don't pay the IRS here.
Right.
So is Puerto Ricans, are they eligible? Because I've also been hearing that you can get $1,500 from the Puerto Rican government.
I think
that
that's
might
for
be
businesses.
for a business.
And Puerto Rican
so
businesses.
are any individuals able to get the $1,200 to begin with?
I would guess, and this is just a total guess, that the only Puerto Ricans eligible for the $1,200 stimulus money would be like us, who have businesses in the United States and we pay federal income tax in the United States. But we will not get it because we make too much money, so we're not eligible for it. But I do not think that Puerto Ricans would be eligible because it's based on your federal tax returns, which most Puerto Ricans do not do. So
it's also based on your adjusted net gross. I don't know these phrases. It's not based on your net income. So if you make $1 million in the United States, but you have $950,000 in write-offs, you pay out employers and all this stuff, and your real income is $50,000, you're not eligible to get the $1,200 because you've made too much money.
Interesting.
You don't get to. It's like it's the line item before
but hold on.
the write-offs.
Maybe the business wouldn't be eligible for it, but if you were an employee of your own business doing a separate tax return, then you would be eligible for it.
I don't know. I think my parents were saying that they weren't eligible for it, and my parents don't make enough. Like once they pay everything off, they're not past that threshold.
I've never fully understood that. So
I looked it up, and what's the phrase?
It.
Somebody write it out. It's like it's your adjusted gross income, AGI, something like that. It's not your actual net, which I always think is a little weird because there's probably ways that you could bring in a ton of money, but then deduct that personally, not as a business. Like if you're a photographer, if we had just had LLCs and you take like, is it a K2 or?
Dude, I don't even want to talk about this because I don't know.
You just have a photography business and you don't pay yourself from a W-2. You just like make $100,000 as a wedding photographer, but then you expense out so much money. You expense out $50,000 on new camera gear and paying your assistants and stuff, but you don't have a W-2 wage.
Yeah.
You could be making more on paper than the $1,200 stimulus would allow you to have. But when you really did your tax return, maybe you only made $20,000 that year. That's why I always felt like it's a little weird. And there's also cases, I think I was reading this in one of the subreddits, where people they're like living off of very small amounts of money, but they have millions and millions of dollars in retirement. But because of that one tax year, they only had, in this AGI, they only had enough to be below the limit, so they still get the $1,200. But they're multi-millionaires, and it's like, why would they get it? So it's like these weird loopholes.
Because it just seems like it should just be based on whatever you pay taxes on or whatever you paid taxes on in 2018. That's what it seems like it should be based on.
Adjusted gross income. I said that right?
I don't know what the hell you said. Pilgrim Media says, what if the Das Boot is haunted, Patrick? Is Das Boot the boat?
I don't know. I saw somebody say they said I was a dreamboat and not what is your dreamboat. So somebody thinks I'm quite dreamy. Do we have a way on this new system to queue up like a shot of me just with the hair blowing?
There's so many things that we can do. It's just for every idea that you have, just add on $3,000. It's like we need the fan.
We can't have just like a bank of clips where you could just be like boom and it just cuts to a glorified shot of me with my hair. And it's like,
it's just not, like, maybe that's possible with OBS and a million different things. I don't know. I have so much more to learn.
Hey, you see this? I added a friend of ours as a moderator, and he is able to remove people from the chat that are
saying dumb stuff?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice job. Rob Grace says, what was the outcome of the mystery
respiratory virus in Green Spring, Virginia. There was an article, I think, about this.
Is this the one that you brought up that was the vaping thing?
Maybe, but there was an article on CNN this morning that was really ironic about a couple who are at the middle of some conspiracy theory, which we have not discussed on this show.
So,
and they were saying
that was what I meant. That's what I was going to bring up next.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah.
Maybe that's what this is.
Poor couple.
I want to say this couple is from Virginia, and I was reading this article, and they kept talking about their names and how they're being harassed, but they don't want to be associated with the conspiracy theory. Yet here they are on the front of CNN. But it never told me what the conspiracy theory was. It was something like she was doing a hike or a
bike race.
A bike race and like collapsed. But again, I never heard. But one of the first conspiracies that I heard was that the virus or something like this was in one of these like level 4 labs, maybe in West Virginia or Virginia. And it got out and some people died in nursing homes and there was this whole thing. And maybe it was associated with the vape.
There's this conspiracy theory guy on YouTube, and you know, a lot of this stuff, I find it entertaining. I find the flat earth stuff fascinating. I've watched so many flat earth videos.
Would you be bummed if YouTube censored all the flat earth videos?
I would be.
You would
I would be a little
Don't
bummed.
you have a right to like see how crazy people are?
But in this case, it just goes to show you how it can ruin someone's life. So basically, this crazy YouTuber guy basically just made up this story about how this woman who's in the Army Reserves, she doesn't even really serve in the Army, she has a normal job, she went to Wuhan for this bike race, I think in 2019, and this guy basically just says she's working for the government and she was the one that brought the virus to Wuhan, and she caught it herself, and she was in this hospital and everything. And CNN interviews her, and she's like, I never had any virus. My husband never had any virus. We're getting death threats daily. We don't feel safe anymore. People know where we live. It's just horrible. And they interview the guy who made this up, and he has no proof of this. He's just making stuff up. So
she did go to Wuhan?
She did go to Wuhan for some bike race.
This guy is saying that she was sick, but she's never been sick?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like all his, like the only fact that's true is that she did a bike race in Wuhan. And she's like, yeah, I'm like a very serious bike racer.
Yeah.
And I published that online. And I think he just saw that and ran with it. Like, ooh, bike race, Wuhan, Army Reserves. She must be the one to have created the pandemic. And it makes no sense. All right, I think we had I think that's actually the last thing that we had to talk about.
Not a whole lot happened today.
Not a whole lot. And I have just been building all of this crap all day, so I really haven't watched as many videos as I normally would have.
I've been playing with my pedal board all day.
Oh yeah, thanks for the help.
So I've been drilling and trying to get stuff together.
I appreciate that.
What do you think about like the stock market's up 1.47% again?
Yep.
It does not make any sense to me because every time I see like, what was I watching today? Oh, you know what it was? I was watching last night. Somebody recommended that I watch the LA Originals with the photographer and tattoo artist.
Okay.
And I did not like it. Like there was elements that I liked. I like seeing Cypress Hill and I like seeing Snoop Dogg and parts of LA. They had a lot of homeless people from Skid Row, which just seems so out of place. It didn't seem like a well-crafted documentary. And then like the characters, they didn't seem like there was no direction. Have you ever watched one of these where it's like an hour and a half long, but it doesn't feel like there's a really good direction of the documentary?
Absolutely.
They had some cool clips. They're
reaching to make it a feature-length movie.
That's how I felt, you know. And they'd have like Snoop Dogg in there just a little bit, and then they'd have Eminem in there just a little bit, and it felt like you really didn't get complete access to interview them in their entirety, you know. But anyway, so I'm watching this, and partly, you know, towards the end of this documentary, they start showing the 2008 financial crisis because that's when this photographer, I guess, starts to lose all his income.
Okay.
and it's like 1.8 million unemployed people, and I'm seeing these clips in this documentary and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like we are at what, 24, 26 million people
Yeah.
are unemployed right now. And I'm just thinking like, it makes no sense that the market is doing what it's doing.
I saw an interview with Bill Gates today, and somebody interviewing him was like, can you explain why the stock market is doing as well as it is? And he was like, I don't really want to comment on it. I'm really an expert in vaccines at this point in my life, but it's very strange to me as well.
It feels like something's being manipulated. Like, I don't know if the big fish that have all the money are doing this to, like, you see it with Bitcoin. Bitcoin constantly goes up and then crashes, and it just feels like it's being manipulated. And I think China might hold more Bitcoin than anyone else in the world,
Really?
I think it's something like that, maybe it's cheaper to mine for Bitcoin there, but, Chinese population's huge. You would kind of think that China would have a big stake in Bitcoin. But it just feels like outsiders are like us. We are unable to take advantage of this. And somehow it's being manipulated, and maybe it's going to crash again. I was texted a link today, and I haven't been able to verify it. It looks like something that is being proposed in Congress, but it didn't come from a website. It was just a PDF that was sent to me. But it's talking about the digital dollar. And it's this idea that a lot of people in Congress, is what this is saying. I don't know this is true yet. I haven't had time to even go down this road. But it was just saying that the next step is to start issuing out these digital dollars, and that our Congress is currently working on this. And it will be a cryptocurrency type of thing. And they're going to get rid of the dollar, and it's going to make it so hard to do like all of these other transactions that you might do with cash. And they're going to be completely monitoring everything that you do. And then also today, Andrew Yang released, he's going to start doing a podcast every day or once a week, a couple times a week. He just released his podcast today. And so I started listening to that. And, he's already on there saying, like, I can't believe we bowed out of the Democratic race. And then 3 months later, Trump is on TV talking about these checks that we're going to be sending all Americans. And he's saying, you know what, like back in February when I was running for president, I wanted $1,000 per person. But you know what, I realized like just now, that's not enough. It really needs to be like $2,000 or $3,000 a month per person for the universal basic income. And I'm thinking, Andrew Yang was the guy campaigning for this, and he's already a few months later saying we need to double or triple the amount of money that he wanted to institute just a few months ago. And I think it just shows like how quickly these changes are going to happen.
Yep.
If we get this digital dollar and we get people addicted to the stimulus money and we get the PPP programs and like we're not able to open for a year, like 100% because we don't have this vaccine, I'm just thinking like it's interesting that we have a presidential election in the middle of this because you would want to believe that that would disrupt this idea, right? But maybe it doesn't matter who wins the presidency. Both candidates will continue to do whatever this bigger picture is.
And now that people know it can be done, anytime there's any downturn, it's like, hey man, why don't you just give us more free money?
I would like to know what other countries are doing. I would like to know more about, because we're about to pass, is it another $350 billion like soon, this week maybe?
Billion, yeah.
We're about to do the next stimulus. That's another thing that we didn't really talk about, but a lot of these big companies that got tons of money, a lot of companies are giving back money. So there might be over $100 million, maybe it's way more than that have money that's come back into the PPP program because these large companies that realized that they probably shouldn't have taken it, or they found a loophole, or they were publicly shamed, now have given the money back. So at the moment, I think there's some money to be had, but our Congress is about to pass the next stimulus for all these small businesses. But I don't know. I'm just looking at the stock market. I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense. I think the VIX, the volatility index, might be at the lowest it's been through this whole process.
Yeah, I mean, the stock market has not been nearly as volatile as it has been. Let me get to Allison here. She says, one thing I haven't heard much discussion on is the student loan forbearance on principal and interest for all federally held student loans until 9/30. Yeah,
9/30, what is that? September 30th?
The date, yeah, I never know like what numbers correlate to what month. So
I have that problem too.
Yeah, I can't.
I've almost gotten them. I know 9 because it's September.
I know 7 because it's my birthday,
Yeah.
July. But other than that, and I know 12 and I know 1. But other than that, it's too much. Yeah, I'm sorry we haven't touched on that. It's weird. I just haven't really read anything about it. Maybe because I don't have any student loans. I just haven't. I've overlooked it very easily. But that's a great point. I would also be interested to know how that actually works. Is it just as simple as just don't pay? Nobody has to pay? Or is this something that you have to ask for and sign up for, kind of like people have to do with the mortgage payments?
What do you guys think would happen if the United States released a cryptocurrency? Do you think Bitcoin would crumble? It's the same idea that like Facebook was trying to do that, and from my understanding, it's very difficult to basically start a bank and a currency, and maybe that's why Facebook has been kind of backpedaling from their, what was their cryptocurrency called, like Litra or
I don't even know.
the Lira?
Does it not exist? Did it ever come out?
I think it was supposed to come out like by now, but maybe Facebook just realized, oh my gosh, it's way more complicated to actually be a bank, and there's all these stipulations that they've tried to change that. But the idea that Facebook or maybe Amazon could have a cryptocurrency, a digital currency, that would destroy Bitcoin, right? Like, if no one takes Bitcoin, very few people take Bitcoin, but Amazon had one, or the United States government has one, what would that do to other currencies? Would it would it validate them, or would it totally take, everyone would sell Bitcoin and then move over to the US dollar?
I don't know. I feel like it does both.
Because Bitcoin right now is doing pretty well. I mean, what is it at? Like 7,500 maybe?
Okay.
77.
Everything's doing really well right now.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But I keep saying this is Bitcoin's time to shine. If this is really supposed to be a hedge against inflation, and this was supposed to prepare us for the next economic downturn, then you would suspect that Bitcoin should do well now. If it doesn't do well through this whole process, can it succeed? It could still be this weird speculative vehicle that people are using, but it's not going to replace the dollar unless like all these currencies collapse and everyone goes into Bitcoin.
The government will never allow it to replace the dollar. They're going to do something if it starts taking over the dollar. Jason says, today Tyson Foods said that they predict a shortage in food because no one is working in factories. Do you think it will lead to another run on groceries?
This is a headline that I saw that I did not put into today's discussion.
We kind of talked about it yesterday.
Only because I brought it up the last 2 days. But yeah, I think Tyson is saying this is the beginning of a real serious food shortage. And that seems insane.
I mean, what does Tyson make? They do the chicken, Tyson chicken. Do they do other types of meat as well?
I think they do. There's been a lot of speculation that Tyson will be getting into the alternative meat industry.
Oh, really?
Well, that's everyone's fear. That's why they're saying like these Beyond Burgers and stuff can only go, these companies can only do so well for so long, because the second a company like Tyson comes in and says, hey, we have the fake chicken, you know, or the fake beef, they can produce the pea protein, is that what it's made out of?
Okay.
That's the worry. But at the moment, I don't believe that they have, they're not selling anything.
I don't know anything about Tyson. I just have this vibe of Tyson that it's the lowest quality meat available. That's probably not true, but I think of like Boar's Head as being a high quality brand of meat, and Tyson being like like bologna. I see
Don't
Tyson
people say
is
that about
making
McDonald's
bologna.
though, and then you watch the McDonald's documentaries where they go inside the farms and stuff, and they like actually the beef that's coming into McDonald's is pretty good.
Maybe I don't know that I'm saying that the meat I guess I am. I'm saying yes. I believe that the chickens and stuff are probably tortured really bad at Tyson just because they work on such a big level. But I'm also saying that it's just like the cheapest meat when anything's made on such a large level. You know, like Nutter Butters are probably made by a grandma at home, one at a time. And that's why they taste so good.
Well, it's interesting you bring this up because it reminds me of people like when we talk about conspiracy theories. You know what adrenochrome is?
No.
Adrenochrome.
Oh yeah, you sent me that video.
It's
Oh
a
my God.
drug that's like basically adrenaline that's in the blood of tortured humans. But could it not be in the blood of tortured chickens from Tyson? Is that why Tyson's chicken tastes so good? Is because if you actually torture the chickens
I mean,
before
this is
you
a
kill
thing
them,
in Asia, man. They torture animals right before killing them
Does
because
it-
they think the meat tastes better.
well, that's exactly what the adrenochrome stuff is. It's like your drink. It would just seem to me that neurotransmitter would be so small in your blood that for you to drink it, and then it's going to go through your kidneys, it's going to go through your liver and stuff and be processed out. It would seem ridiculous that would make any difference, but that is definitely a thing in China. I mean, that's kind of why these wet markets exist. Is Chinese or Eastern medicine is so obsessed with the idea of. I mean, we saw this in Hong Kong. You walk down the streets and they have the blowfish and the frogs, like all these weird things that like you put it in the soup and it's supposed to like make your erection harder and it's supposed to make you live longer.
It's always about the erection.
And it's like your hair is going to grow back and it's going to make your hair on your chest go away. It's like it does both things.
Elia was telling us about a chicken asshole soup that he said it looks like a bowl of Cheerios.
Oh,
and this is a real thing that people eat, and it probably is supposed to help with their erection. Who knows? Steve says people just need to locally source their beef, pork, and poultry. I agree. I mean, I feel like that's a wonderful thought, but I don't think it's possible based on the amount of meat that we consume and waste on a daily basis. I mean, I think it would
And
be...
where you live. Like, how much meat is produced in, like, rural farmland? But, like, New Yorkers could never have meat if you did that.
Yeah, yeah.
One thing I'm curious about, I know we have some people here in Puerto Rico. Maybe you know the answer to this. Every time that I get ground beef and I get steaks, even if I get fancy steaks from Costco, and maybe these steaks from Costco are being shipped over on cargo ships, but the steak that I get here does not taste as good as the steak and beef that I get in the United States. And I've had debates with people about like corn-fed beef versus grass-fed. And I think grass-fed is more expensive.
Yep.
And people prefer it, like it's the more premium meat. But I have bought both and done taste tests side by side. And I don't know if corn-fed beef is fattier because they're eating corn. It's cheaper, but I like the taste of that better.
Really?
And I feel like maybe the beef we get here in Puerto Rico, I'm speculating, maybe somebody out there knows, the beef might be local beef. I don't know about the Costco one. That's the like questionable part. But maybe it is all grass-fed meat. But to me, it tastes gamier. When I make tacos, when I make steaks, when I make hamburgers, whatever I make with this meat, it seems less of it is USDA like marked. I look for that because I'd like to buy that. But I'll go to many of these grocery stores and they're like it's called like unrolled meat. So they haven't rolled the ink or the stamp of the USDA, I think is what they call it.
I don't know. Have you gotten anything from the farm that everybody talks about that's right down the road from here?
The butcher shop or the farm?
I thought it was both. I thought you could pick the cow you wanted to murder and
I haven't
do
had
it right
that
there.
yet, but I'm about to get some barbecue from the place in Fajardo.
Oh, really?
So I'll see
pork?
how that is. It's pork, but I don't know. I just know the beef that I've been eating here. Something about it doesn't taste the same as it did in the States.
That's funny because the Impossible Whoppers are just as good. Pilgrim Media says Soylent Green is people. It's people. I assume Soylent.
Man, these are good.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro.
I mean, this used to be one of my favorite as a kid. And I can't say I haven't had these in like 15 years because I had one of these with the last batch that you had, but I haven't had Nutter Butter in a long time until recently.
Yeah, it's good. Soylent is the powdery like meal replacement. You never need to eat food again. You can just eat Soylent. And he says it's made of people.
Eat more Alaskan wild salmon, cod, halibut, crab. Hey, I agree. Silver salmon, king salmon, I love it. And then halibut. I think halibut is my favorite fish of all time. We actually have a restaurant here, La Pescaderia, and they have a halibut. I don't know how, it's probably frozen. It can't possibly be super fresh, but halibut is one of my favorite fish ever.
When we went to Alaska a couple years ago, I cheated on my vegetarian diet and had some Alaskan salmon, and It was damn good.
I caught salmon in Seward and filleted it and like just straight up ate it.
Like a bear.
And then the professional fisherman on the other side that was cutting up fish, he was like, you know that fresh fish is never eaten that fresh. He's like, we always freeze it or we cover it in salt.
Because you have to kill parasites,
because it kills
right?
the bacteria, the parasites in it. And he's like, but you did catch that right out here in the sound. You're probably good. But even I wouldn't have done what you just did. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, man. I was like, worried I was going to get sick.
Guys, in case you didn't know, pretty much the episode is over. Now we're just wasting time.
If we didn't have a hiccup at the beginning of this, maybe tomorrow, I want to address this because a lot of people are like, I don't have time to watch a 3-hour episode.
Yeah.
The episode's like 40 minutes to an hour. It always has been. The only reason it's an hour before and not now is because we'd insert all those video clips.
Yeah.
After the hour, it's just going to be us hanging out with you until like we're bored and tired.
Well, I can't hang out as long today because I have to eat dinner. I was building this right up until the last second, and so I haven't had any food. These Nutter Butters are all I've had.
Spencer is saying that New York State has canceled their presidential primary. Any thoughts on that? Why does it matter? Like, they already picked their candidate. Maybe there's more things being voted on in these primaries, but why do New Yorkers feel like they need to go out and vote Biden? Or are people still saying I can go out and vote Bernie and show my support, and maybe he will have some large amount of delegates even though he's not going to take the nomination?
I don't know. I don't know all of the subtleties of voting in the United States and local. There's just so many details that I thought I understood, and then I learned that, like, oh, they do it totally different in that state and totally different time of the year. Here's a funny comment. Lee, I watched your editorial video with the blacksmith dude. You're a better photographer than you give yourself credit for.
The one where you're walking around in sandals with sparks flying everywhere?
Do I give myself very poor credit for being a photographer? I think I'm an okay photographer. Maybe he thinks I'm an excellent photographer.
Nestor is saying that a lot of the meat is shipped here frozen, and that the taste is the taste I'm tasting is it being thawed out and then refrozen. And then if I freeze it, like I'm freezing it a second time, but it definitely tastes different. And like people are suggesting, maybe I prefer the corn-fed cows. Although I'm also hearing that you can feed cows corn like the final week of their lives or something, so they can be grass-fed, and then you let them eat corn at the very end before you slaughter them.
Hey, Dennis, the guy who paid us $500 to wax Patrick's chest. I would imagine that you earlier told us what you want Patrick to do, but because we were talking and trying to do the show, I didn't see it, and I'm trying to scroll back through right now and find any comments you left, but I cannot find them. So please comment down below and set the rules. I think it would be funny, you know, on the 40-year-old virgin, didn't he do like a smiley face? It was like the eyes and then like across the stomach.
Okay.
I think that would be good for you.
I would prefer that because it would be less waxing to do.
It's going to be so awful. But I don't know. I look forward to watching you do it, but I don't want to be this close to you while it's happening. I'm grossed out by your hairy body anyway.
Yeah.
And then the idea that like it might touch me or something.
Well, people are always upset that these pants are so short, and they're really not that short when I stand up. I mean, that's like a normal length, but when I sit, they go up. But I have some really short swim trunks. I think I wore one on the show one time. They come up to here. Maybe I should have the red swim trunks when we do the waxing.
Again, it's up to Dennis, but Dennis is not commenting. Did Dennis just pay $500 and then leave? Oh, there he goes. All good. You'll figure it out. You're a natural showman. Definitely consult the girls, though.
I might have to take over the couch over here. I might have to be propped up. Somebody was saying, I don't know if I can find this comment right here, but they were saying the way I was eating that fish raw is how things like coronavirus get started.
I'm sorry.
I don't know that that's
real quick.
True.
So Dennis just said we can do whatever we want. We're good showmen. All of the comments are saying that I have to do it. And although I am disgusted and I might gag, I feel like this poor guy paid so much money for this that at the very least I should pull one of the...
I mean, why don't we do 3 pulls? Kristen gets one, Katie gets one, and you get one.
That would be a good show.
It's the smiley face. It's one here, one there, and one
on the nipples.
I mean, I guess mine. I've learned my nipples are not sensitive. Do you like nipple play?
No, I don't.
It does nothing to me. So
it doesn't really.
The way I look at it is that's one less area of hair. So if you cover the nipple, it's like giving me a way out.
Until it like takes the whole nipple with it.
Well, you remember the taser photo shoot? You like tased Pat Black in the nipple.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
the shot of like it sparking and going right across the nipple. Back to what this guy was saying. Do we know? I don't think people, because somebody left a comment on a video a couple days ago saying like, "How dare you, Patrick, say that like Chinese are eating bats or something?" I don't think anyone believes that we get the virus from eating the animal. It's from the animal biting us or from us slaughtering it in a way and it gets airborne. Like, I think you can eat bat, right? And cook the bat. I mean, I think if you cook the bat, it might kill the virus.
Maybe.
And then eating it, you're having to go through your digestive tract, which I would assume your stomach's going to like kill a virus with that much acidity. So I don't know that it's from eating a bat. And that's why people speculate there's an intermediate animal from the bat to another animal, then to humans. But MERS, they think it's a camel. But how do you get it? Like, they're not eating the camel.
Yeah, people do eat camel.
But again, I don't know that eating it is the problem. Is it like
it's
you're
like
around?
the killing it and the slaughtering of it and the chopping it up and spreading it around and the blood and like I think
it's that part of it.
Well,
that's what
I don't know.
That's what I assumed it was, but I don't know that it's from roasting a camel or a bat over a flame and then eating that meat. There is something that happened with Mad Cow though. Mad Cow was something like that. The cows were eating meat or feed that was contaminated with other cow brains. Something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. You guys from the UK, I think that's where Mad Cow started. So you can tell me if I'm way off base here.
All right, guys. I will pull at least one of the waxing papers. I can't believe it. Get Mike Kelly to pull the wax. Mike Kelly has to fly in just to pull the wax and then fly back out and contract coronavirus on the way. Patrick should watch the movie before doing the nipple. I think you have forgotten.
I think I'm way behind on the comments here. Pangolin. Bat virus plus pangolin virus equals corona. Mad cow disease was from eating the infected cows, but I think the cows got... Was that a virus? I think the cows got the virus or the disease because there was something in their feed, and I thought it was...
I think it was themselves.
I thought it was other cows.
Yeah.
So yes, mad cow disease is something humans got, but it was from eating.
Well, cows got mad cow disease too, I think. The cows were the ones going mad.
They were all moving and going crazy too.
Yeah.
Doing these podcasts, live or even edited, it makes me really appreciate people like Joe Rogan because he says a lot of ridiculous stuff, but we say ridiculous stuff too.
Not me.
It's really hard to be that knowledgeable and be right on so much of it, you know? There's a lot of things that are on the tip of my tongue and it's like 90% right, 70% right, 20% right.
I mean, you can hardly say words correctly.
I know. I get caught up on my...
See, you're having trouble right now.
My linguistics.
Yeah. Can we talk about the thing that you mentioned off camera right before we went live? The new product that's coming out any moment? Are we allowed to?
We're not under any kind of...
How did you hear about this?
It's all over the internet, and they're doing a stream. Oh. They're doing a stream in like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So
there's a product launch for DJI is releasing the new Mavic 2 Air.
Is it Mavic Air Pro 2?
I don't think there's a Pro in it.
Oh. I can't keep track of all the Mavic Airs, man. But I've been saying I want the new one when it comes out. But I hope this is the one with the better camera, because we have the cheaper one, and it's amazing, but I'm very envious of people who have the slightly better one. But I'm excited to see the specs when that comes out.
Yeah, the DJI Mavic Air 2. And it's going to be, they think, $800. 4K at 60 frames per second. What does ours shoot?
I think ours shoots at 4K 30. I think.
But in many cases, we like to shoot at 30, and then we just slow it down. What is that, 10 or 20%?
Yeah, but I think the Pro version could shoot in 10-bit, maybe. You know, we don't really ever like shooting in 10-bit, but I think there was a really significant boost in quality between the two, even though it was the same actual chopper, different camera.
How do you read this? The Mavic Air 2 will support up to 240 minutes of battery life and 34 minutes of flight time between charges. What is 240 minutes of battery life? That's if it's just on, sitting on the ground. Nobody cares about that, right? It's the 30 minutes of flight time.
Yeah, why? I'm trying to think of any situation where you just want it sitting for.
Well, we used to
4
take
hours.
the Mavic. The Mavic. Oh, it wasn't the Mavic. It was the
Phantom.
The Phantom, and we would just hold it without the prop spinning and use it as a Steadicam.
So, when we filmed the first Photographing the World with Elia, I came up with this idea and I thought I was brilliant. This was before the drones had the downlink and stuff. They had just invented the gimbal on the bottom of the drone that could hold a GoPro, but it had no downlink. And we learned that, like, man, if we walk with this, it stabilizes the footage really well. And I was like,
And it was also before all the handheld gimbals had really come out.
that's my point. That was the whole story that you just ruined.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry.
I had this brilliant idea, and I was like, what if they make one of these, but instead of going on the drone, it goes in your hand? And we were like, yeah, that would be amazing. And then it was like a month later, 1 million of them all came out at once. And we were like, oh, yeah, I guess other people had the same idea. I guess it wasn't that brilliant, was it?
Somebody is saying that Joey Wright is on Twitch right now doing an edit of probably Half Naked Girls. If you want to check that out, find his Twitch handle. Maybe there's a way for you to make money too if you're a retoucher and people like to watch you edit. You can use that service.
Kirk says, who's suing us? We will only tell if the lawsuit actually goes through.
Oh, if it goes through.
Yeah, if it goes
okay,
through.
I was going to say, if it's dropped, then they're going to be like, we're not dropping it now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to be vindictive, but
when it's dropped, hopefully it's dropped. We'll talk. Maybe we won't name the photographer, but we'll definitely talk in detail about what the overall suit is.
Sure.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Please say hi, Kadem. Hi, Kahadam. That's what Jamie paid $2 for me to say. Sorry, I butchered that name. I don't know how to say that. Any other questions, guys, before I go make some dinner?
Dennis is saying New Zealand banned all drones and RC planes.
Is that true? That is
hope
such a
not.
bummer, man. I feel like we got so lucky. We got in right under all the restrictions, but
It's so frustrating, like when you, especially here in America, and you go to the national parks and they're like no drones. And I'm like, this is the safest place to fly a drone. There's hardly any people here.
Yeah.
And if you crash it in the face of a mountain, it's like it's going to fall to the ground. Yes, it's litter and trash, but it's not that bad, I'm sure tourists probably leave way more trash than like a couple drones that fall from the sky. But then you go to really populous areas and you see drones flying around all the time, and you're like, this is where it has a real chance to hurt somebody.
I think they just need to set a law and have it be about the size and weight of the drone. And I think they do have this. But just make those really small drones better and better and better, and then we'll all just use the small drones, and everyone will be safe and happy.
Or just make a reasonable license, like a reasonable flight fee. when you go to these parks, at least this is how it was a couple of years ago, you go and say, hey, I have a drone. I want to apply for a permit to fly it. And it was like nothing was even in place. It's like, oh, I don't even know how to do that. Let me contact somebody in a department that's not even familiar with our state.
And it'll be $1,000 or something ridiculous. It's not worth it, and that's just
Maybe it was even more than 1,000. But you would never hear back. You'd hear back like weeks from now and stuff. So I just feel like make it a $200 or $300 fee to where the average Joe Blow doesn't want to like fly their drone. But if you're a production company, you're like, hey, I'm willing to spend $200 to fly it. Like that seems like the reasonable way.
After the virus gets controlled, we should have a huge Puerto Rico photographers meetup in San Juan or Isla Verde or something. I agree. We should. I want to be social and like get back to living life. Have y'all considered consulting to networks on producing higher quality content, referencing programs like SNL, recording on cell phones with audio on AirPods? The only person that I've reached out to try to help has been Peter Schiff, because he lives here in Puerto Rico. And he's been doing live streams, and he's got really bad production value. And his assistant reached out for some tips, but I don't know. I mean, the truth is, you want some more, don't you?
Just one more.
After setting all this stuff up and kind of learning about how complicated it can be, I'm starting to lean back towards like, maybe webcam's the way to go. It's just, it works and everything's built in.
But SNL's not live, right? It's definitely
at the moment. Yeah.
So I just feel like, why would you do it? You don't need any of this. All you need is for people to know how to use their phone and maybe an external audio clip, little external audio recorder, and send those two things to the producer who has all week to edit the show.
I know.
It doesn't seem difficult.
It's very strange. I watched another few SNL clips, and I remember just thinking, this is so bad compared to normal YouTube content that I see every day that is being done by a single person. And these still have graphics. Things are being done.
No.
But
the more content I see produced by big companies, the more I want to make something. I started this show called The Circle on Netflix. It's kind of like a social experiment. It's basically like a hotel in Chicago. And they've rented out like 8 to 10 rooms, and they put 8 to 10 random people in the rooms. Some of them are real, and then some of them play like a catfish role, and they make a profile, and they have to talk through like a Alexa or something, and it's like she tells them, all right, it's time to chat, and then everyone gets their teeth. Like their whole room is outfitted to where they can just speak to the television, and then they can respond privately and stuff, and you're trying to basically win the affirmation of all these people. But every week somebody gets voted off, and there's like influencers who get voted as like the most likable. It's kind of an
This sounds so boring. Why is this fun to watch? It's just people talking?
Well, they have characters. It's like there's I won't tell who's who, but like they'll have like the unattractive big fat woman, and she's playing like a super hot girl. And then it's got the flamboyant gay guy who might be the real gay guy in real life. Like he's playing himself, but he's hilarious, And so like you see how they interact, and individually, they're kind of interesting people.
Okay.
But they're having all these interactions. But there are definitely times in the show where it kind of lulls, and you're like, I don't know that I really like this, but I've had friends tell me this show is really good. So then you go 3 or 4 episodes, you get invested.
So what's your point?
I just watched this, and I'm like, man, we could totally produce a show like this. Many of you could produce a show like this. You need some money up front to do it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happens once you film it. You then have to like pitch it to a company like Netflix. But I'm watching this stuff, and I'm like, what's the other one where they, Love is Blind? Have you seen this one? A lot of these are like love things. That's what Kristen likes to watch. But the idea is that you are going to talk to people without seeing them, but you can build these relationships. And then after so many weeks, you will pick somebody and propose to them. And then you finally get to meet each other in person. And then they go on to show, like, will this relationship fail,
I love that Americans are so angry about gay marriage and the sanctity of marriage, yet our #1 reality TV shows all have to do with like meeting people and marrying them within.
Have you seen Married at First Sight?
No.
They literally make them walk down the aisle at a wedding, and they see each other for the first time.
Oh, insane.
And I'm looking at these people, and I'm just like,
dude, you
man,
and Kristen watch too much of that garbage.
It's all garbage, though. Like, it's no different than other shows that are just as trashy.
Yeah, it's no different than other trashy shows, but there are like well-produced documentaries and movies and stuff that.
Oh, I love documentaries. I watch those all the time. I'm gonna start Waco, but I think Waco is like 2 years old now. But everybody's talking about it.
Maybe it just came out on Netflix.
That, or everyone's quarantined and looking for stuff to watch. But
Nathan says, "Love you guys. Been a sub since the beginning." Really? That's a long time, Nathan. We appreciate it. He says, "I do live streaming full time. Actually, if you need anything, let me know." Learner Productions. Thank you so much, Nathan. I might use you. If you want, send me an email at lee@fstoppers.com. And no one else send me any emails, please.
did you see the sketch where Brad Pitt plays Dr. Fauci?
Yeah.
I didn't watch that one, but is it good?
Not that good. It's maybe a little cute. I mean, the what's endearing about the whole thing is someone asked Dr. Fauci, they said, "One day this will be a movie and someone will have to play you. Who would you like?" And he was like, "Brad Pitt, of course." So it's cool that Brad Pitt actually played him on SNL. Zachna says, "What do you think of portraits? The portraits of families taken from the street of them on their porch. Stupid or safe?"
Totally safe.
Yeah,
I think the world's
safe.
going crazy over what's safe and not safe. At
Yeah.
this point, I would feel so comfortable doing like a normal photo shoot with like 1 or 2 people on set, or a family that feels good. Like,
Well, we
in many
just
cases,
learned.
I shoot past 50 millimeters with a lot of the stuff anyway. Like, I wouldn't feel that's risky.
I agree. I think it's kind of stupid just because it's been done and one person came up with it and then everybody copied it. But, I mean, again, going to the grocery store is probably the most dangerous thing you can do, even with masks on. I mean, I wore the mask today. I immediately got in the car, took the mask off, and then I was like scratching my face because my face was all itchy
When was this? This morning?
when I went to Walmart. So, like, I've got if the virus is in Walmart, I got it.
Why
And now
didn't
you have it.
You just have a bad protocol.
I just don't care.
You get into the car, you then use the hand sanitizer.
I didn't have that. I'm not.
Then you take the
I'm
mask
not,
off.
No, I'm not doing all that.
Actually, I take the mask off, then use the hand sanitizer.
No, I'm not doing that. Timothy says, "My wife, a full-time photographer, and I watch your videos every night without missing. You guys are keeping us sane." Tim and Jess from Canada. Well, thank you so much, Tim and Jess. We really appreciate it. Like we mentioned last night, we are losing subscribers at a rapid pace. I think so far we've lost, maybe we haven't lost that many, but normally
We're just not gaining.
we gain 10,000 a month, and we have gained 0 in the last 30 days approximately. So I see that as a loss, because we've definitely gained some, and so we've lost a lot of other ones. So sorry, we're going to get back to photography soon, I promise. Spencer says, "The Mavic Air 2 is on DJI's website, up to 240 frames per second. That's pretty cool. I would imagine that's at 1080 probably.
What would you be shooting from the air that needs 240 frames? Like, maybe there's lots of possibilities, but it wouldn't be the typical
Dance crews.
Yeah, like cheerleader being thrown up in the air,
Yeah, that would
blowing out fire.
No, that would look so cool.
But you have to have that. Just like aerial landscapes probably doesn't look all that cool, but when they crash now, you will be able to see them crash in epic fashion.
Hey, somebody post how much this drone costs.
They say, I thought it was 800.
That's it? It's only 800? Somebody says, "Lee, Fauci could be fired over Brad Pitt playing him on SNL." What does that mean? Why do you say that? How many Nutter Butters will Lee eat? I have to be done. I have to be done. I'm getting to the point now where, and this shirt maybe is just a little tighter than some of my other shirts, but can you feel yourself getting fatter? Like, not just like, oh, my pants are a little tighter, but like, I feel my chesticles bouncing a little bit more with each step. And like, does it feel like my gut might be rubbing on my shirt in a new way? It's freaking me out.
That's happened to me, but I think it's because of the Humira. My weight is always so consistent, and I'm convinced on this Humira drug, I think I've gained like 5 to 8 pounds that I normally, like, I'm not the most I've ever weighed, but I'm on the higher end of that. And no matter how much I work out, I can't lose that little bit of weight. So I always feel like bloated. I don't feel bad, but like, it's not where I'd like to be.
Where can I find your before and after picture in Atlantic City?
I don't know. I have it in my phone. Can I text your computer?
Sure.
How do I do that?
Just email it to my email. You guys need to see this picture. And this is all the work that I've done setting up this nightmare of a setup. Will be worth it when you guys see this picture.
Okay, so this is this is the before. But do I have the other one? Yeah.
So you don't have them side by side?
No. Unfortunately.
All right, so
you
let's
have one.
expand this. We will go full screen.
This is Atlantic City. And this is what you look like when you take prednisone. Has anybody been on the drug prednisone? It's known for making the moon face. And
you look like Kim Jong-un.
I weigh the same as I weigh in the picture you're about to show, but you just have all this water weight in your face.
There's no way you weigh the same.
I swear to you.
There's no way you weigh the same.
I went back to Atlantic City after having that photo taken, and I redid it. Same place, like 2 or 3 years later.
Whoa, what happened?
I don't know.
Why would it do that?
I don't know.
Come on, MacBook.
That's the Mac for you. Can you go back and forth? I actually look pretty good there.
Oh my gosh, can we just, let's see, can we go back to cam 1 and then, see, that's not ideal.
I need to.
Damn it. See, there's a lot more I need to learn about live streaming.
Traveling Casper's World says, being a photographer, is there a chance that you will miss out on other opportunities in life? I feel like being a photographer allows me to have more opportunities in life.
Absolutely. I mean, if nothing else, photography, wedding photography at first and now F-Stoppers, has allowed me to have free time. That is the most difficult thing that even extremely wealthy people usually lose time. In many cases, you know, they start these businesses and they have to be there 12 hours a day. But with wedding photography, we were able to just work a few days a week or a few days a month and then just have freedom to do whatever we wanted after that. So, yeah, I feel super fortunate when it comes to free time. Somebody says that happened to me on prednisone as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a certain amount, like you can get prednisone just for like little joint pains and like knocking out viruses and bacteria and stuff. But if you're on prednisone for a long period of time and you go above maybe like 20 milligrams, you'll get the moon face. And then it takes forever to get rid of it.
In the after picture, Patrick looks like an Armenian arms dealer. All right, Patrick. I think I'm heading out of here.
I think
Do you
I'm
want to
out
call
too.
it?
Yeah, like I want people to look forward to these, and if we just sit around and lag, and I mean, we just need more news.
Yeah.
The question I have for you is, do you feel like we're not reading the news as much? Obviously, today we didn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like for the last couple days, I've been not that interested in the news. And so my question is there less going on in the news, or are we at another stage of this whole diary process where we don't care as much about coronavirus? Are we losing interest?
Well, I just, you know, there's definitely a level of fear that I have lost. I just don't care at all anymore. I'm like, if I get it, I get it. I got to get back to living my life. And so I came home and Katie was like, do you want to wipe down the food? I'm like, hell no, I'm not wiping down the food. That's ridiculous. And she was like, well, are you going to shower? And then I just gave her a big hug and she's like, no, now you're giving me the virus. So I just don't care. Maybe that's going to come back to bite me.
Yeah, if Katie passes away from coronavirus,
Then I'm going to go.
Are you going to ever forgive yourself for?
Right. Then that would be the dumbest joke ever. But I don't know. Like, we just learned one of our closest, not our closest friends, one of our close friends, Joe.
Yeah.
He's the web developer for F-Stoppers.
He had it, and we didn't even know.
Yeah, we didn't know.
He doesn't know for certain. He couldn't get tested.
Yeah, he said he tried to get tested. He's in New Jersey, right over the bridge from New York, so you would think they'd have the most testing in the world right there. He said he tried multiple times to get tested, couldn't get tested. He said he felt horrific for 2 weeks. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I asked him a question on Facebook, and then I haven't been back on Facebook, so I don't know. I asked him scale 1 to 10. Did he respond to that?
Yeah, I think he said he had like a 8, maybe a 9 one day. 10 being you think you're about to die.
Yeah. 9 would be you need to go to hospital, I would think.
I would think.
But did he go to Vegas with Peter Hurley and that whole headshot crew? Do you think does he know where he got it?
No, he couldn't have got it.
That was February. That was too long ago.
Well, I remember talking to him at the beginning of the month or whatever, and he was fine. And he was joking that, like, I live a quarantine life anyway. I'm not getting this.
Yeah.
So I am curious to know where he thinks he got it. I mean, obviously it's got to be food or whatever.
Yesterday, my aunt has it.
Mm-hmm.
She's recovering, but still really scared. Piers Morgan or somebody had a tweet today that was just telling the story of, like, I don't want to get it wrong, but it was something like where there was making fun of something, and then literally 2 days later, I think I might have it, to then like 3 days later, he died. And it was like in a 5 to 7 day period, somebody went from asymptomatic entirely all the way to death. You know, and when you hear stuff like this, it's like scary and it's happening, but I don't know. I think we've also been very shielded because nobody we know really well has gotten it and then died, you know, or gotten it and come very, very close to dying. Everyone that we know hasn't really been affected at all by it.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe I need to get serious about it again. It's just so hard to be stuck inside for months. The only thing you hear about and read about is just more bad news. I'm just ready to, like, get back on with my life, you know.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, we have a new Critique the Community that came out today.
Yes.
So if you like photography content, we're going to try to keep making some. It'll be a lot easier now that we're doing this live and we don't have to edit this show.
Well, the Critique the Communities can be so much fun if we can do them live. And we can have people, like, send in pictures live and we can critique them live and we can see what everybody else says about the pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to be hilarious.
My point is just, if you like photography content, I don't really care one way or another if you go watch the video or not, but I feel like if you're complaining that we aren't releasing enough photography...
The people complaining are not watching right now.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But
I see what you're
go
saying.
watch the video. It just came out. I'm always worried that if we release 2 or 3 videos a day, which would have been unheard of, I would have never thought we could do that, these videos get pushed down further and further. So maybe the Critique the Community will do very poorly, but at the same time, that content's up. Were you taking Katie said you might have taken a picture today? Did you go out and photograph something?
I did. I went out. I'm trying, you know, we got this sponsored video we got to do, and I'm just trying to find something that's interesting to photograph around here that's not that cool rock that we always go to. Yeah. So there are these trees that are somewhere in the neighborhood that I biked over to, and I don't love it, but I don't know. I feel like...
What pedal board am I using? I have one by Temple Audio. And when I go to their website, everything's out of stock. So I don't even know if Temple Audio is still around. But they make a really cool pedal board that is, it's aluminum, but it's got a lot of holes in it. So it's clean, it's modular, and it's lightweight. I always built pedal boards out of wood, and the board itself would weigh like 10 pounds. So I have been drilling into it, trying to get a switcher. Maybe I'll show you guys later, but it's a pedal board that I had years ago that I brought down here. All right.
Answer one more question, Patrick.
One
I gotta
more
get this
question.
page open to
what is the
close
last question? How about I do one last super chat? The next person that sends a super chat, I will answer that question.
Let's see. View in live control room. Oh, we got to come up with a better system.
Coming up with a DJI video?
No. I'm just like because I closed everything down on the other computer, it's going to take me a long time to get the window back up to close the live stream. So I just wanted to be ready. When you said we're done, I want to like be done.
Oh,
you know
I
what
thought
mean?
you were gonna be productive and actually see if there's a video now about the new.
About the DJI?
Yeah, see if you can pull that up.
All right.
Maybe they've released that. Some beautiful footage to close this out. Yes, we were in Aguadilla, and there's beautiful stuff on the west side of the island here.
This is Mavic Air 2.
It's so long to get over there.
Here we go.
It's not the sort of thing we can go
Here
over there
we
and
go.
do a photo shoot and then come right back.
Do you guys want sound? Maybe I should give sound. Let's do it.
You may have some questions, like,
So what's different?
well, let's start with the larger sensor. There's a lot more pixels, 48 megapixels to be exact,
48
which means
megapixels.
you can do this.
What?
And then shoot a hyperlapse in 8K. With Smart
Can we
Photo,
make our
every
feature
shot is a
right here
masterpiece.
We'd be like,
Yeah, but photos aren't really my thing.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. It also does 4K 60p video. You can also slow things down. Wait, no. And yes, there's HDR video. How's the flight time? It's fantastic.
Man.
You're looking at up to 34 minutes in the air, a new record for the Mavic series. We've added OcuSync 2.0, so you can fly longer and see clearer.
Hey, look at that.
Pilot.
That's where Focus Track comes in, so you can fly like a pro.
Smoke what?
they had the girl with the smoke.
Oh.
Or just press a button. Here's the best part. Automatic obstacle avoidance.
Okay, but what do I do with all these shots?
Here's an idea. Use the DJI Fly app to edit and share your moments with just a tap. So, what's different? A whole lot.
Man, that was a really good ad. All right. Is that the end?
That is the end.
Thank you
Let's
guys
get
for watching.
Out of here.
I will have even more gadgets working for the live feed
it was
tomorrow.
too loud, they said.
No! It was too loud?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. All right, I'll fix it tomorrow. Bye.